Hey guys, Santa Self here, back for another video, and as you can see from the set here, we're doing an interview. In case you didn't know, I'm in a movie. I'm just kidding. I'm in a movie. It's a horror movie, but we'll get into that. Our special guest today is somebody who hasn't been on the channel, but you're going to see in a minute. Vinny!
Oh! Thanks for having me, man.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Here we go.
Alright.
Set up.
Let's get this interview underway. Alright, so we have Vinny here on the Sam Does Stuff interview show. I didn't think of a better name. But what do you want to say about when I approached you probably a week after we met and I said, let's do an interview?
You know, I thought nothing of it. It's one of those things where it's like, I always find people, local talent, local people to work on these projects. And so, you know, everyone's always asking me for advice. And, you know, when it comes to like the film realm and, you know, video recording, anything really. And so when you approached me about that, I was like, oh, wow, this seems kind of fun, you know? And I want to do my part and help out as best I can and let people know how fun like movie making is, and that, you know, no matter what equipment you have or where your mindset is, you can do whatever your heart pleases, you know.
I have the same thing with the YouTube channel where people come up to me and like, there's those nice people that are like, nice video, that video was good, you should do this. And I'm like, that's cool. There's other people that are like, you should stop, you should not do it. And it's like, I don't see why I wouldn't do it. I mean, I'm not one to play sports, I like watching them, but I'm not in the position to play a sport. Doing YouTube is something fun. It's how I found Angelo specifically and you. I don't think I'd be where I am if I didn't do the YouTube channel. I've gained friends from it. I've gained you. I'm in a movie because of it. And I feel like it helped me mentally. When it came to low points, I always had something to fall on. Where it was like, I'm in control. I can see what happens.
Right. I started out making skits on Instagram. And back in high school, I got bullied pretty bad for it. So,
really?
You know, there was a lot of points in my life when I wanted to give up, and I crawled in like dark corners. I'm just like, you know, what am I doing with my life, right? But then there was a love for filmmaking. I knew I had it somewhere in there. So I started writing, and I realized, like, as I started creating more, I started to get better and better as time went on. And so to think that from 2014 when I started making skits to 10 years later and I'm on the doorstep of the film business, I think it really shows people, like, it doesn't matter who you are, where you live, you can do it, you know, and you have a chance to entertain people all over the world.
Now that we have a little background on what you did to get to this point, let's hear about Party Foul, your current movie that yours truly is in. How did you come up with that name, and what inspired you to make that movie?
I had the idea back in during COVID, so it was, 2021 is when I wanted to start kind of diving into more suspenseful horror type stuff. Now, Party Foul, like, I thought of the name because, like, it shows the kids having a party, having a good time, but something is just wrong, and you know, or like off. Something's off, and you know, like when you watch like football and they throw a flag, like problem. I like, oh, you know, they're having a party, and there's a problem. How about we call it Party Foul?
You went for a mystery thriller type when you thought of this movie.
I did.
Kind of like a Scream 1996
yes.
type of movie where you don't know who the killer is until the end, but there's subtle hints where you can see someone acting. Like, I think in Scream they did, like, there was eyebrow movement and
very little movements.
He checks like his forehead for Matthew Lillard's character, checks his forehead for bruises after he gets like kicked. subtle stuff like that throughout the movie. Would you say you put any of those in there that nobody spotted when making the movie?
Yes. And it's one of those things where it's like, as the director, I see a lot of stuff that's that actors and the audience members can't see.
Right.
Because, like, I'm the one that wrote all those little details in there. And so when I made the movie, I purposely put in a lot of hidden messages for the audience to kind of grasp, and, like, little hints to who the killer might be. But it doesn't necessarily give them a whole lot to decipher who is the killer. And I think I did it so strategically in the writing, because it only took me about a month to write the whole thing. But I knew that with the hidden messages that I have in there, I knew that they were going to be compelling, and I think it hit a home run for the most part.
You can say it was a foul ball. So now we know how you got the name Party Foul, but what inspired you specifically to make the movie, and why did you go in the direction you did for the ending that even I don't even know about?
Oh, right. So a big part of it was Scream. Like, I think as a kid, I was so inspired by, like, I think that's the best slasher film ever made.
1982.
96.
96?
but it was a perfect slasher. I studied it, and I'm like, wow. I mean, they kind of had all these little hidden elements in there, and a great storyline. I always wanted to make something like that one day.
I can cling to that.
So right.
Cling to that.
So, you know, I again thought nothing of it, but in 2021, that's when I, like, boom, I got the idea. I made a short film, Party Foul, and, you know, it's a little cringy. I knew I wanted to go back to it because I feel like I left a diamond in the rough back there.
Did you feel completed when you finished the short film? Did you say to yourself, like, randomly, like, I don't feel like this fulfilled what I wanted it to be?
Yes.
How many people, roughly, like a percentage, do you think will completely understand the movie based on what's in it? No, not watching videos, not talking to anybody who was in it. Who will 100% describe what happened to a T?
95%.
Really?
95%. Yeah. And I think it's even better too when they actually see the hidden messages that I put in there. A lot of stuff about, you know, hazing and bullying and how bad it is, and toxic relationships. Those little things that really could drive a person to do what they do. Like, the movie's so scary in the sense that, wow, I mean, this is kind of the life we're living in right now, that this crap actually does happen, you know, and it's the type of stuff that really you have to put a stop to it. And you know, I think that the best message, and I could say this, treat everybody with kindness, even if you don't know who they are. I think it's so important to treat people fairly and civil, because, like I said, you don't know what somebody's going through.
Everybody gets a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah. So
you're probably wondering what this is. I put a slideshow together of questions that not only me, but other people had. Now, there's not specific questions, but from the pictures I showed people while making it, they asked, why did he do that? Why did he do this? For example, he had us sit in a basement for like 6 hours. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. But, I've seen breakdowns of other movies, and like they're like 12 hours in this hot room, and I'm like, so to get the full image, and he would always be crazy. Like, if he was already halfway through a shot and someone did this, whole shot's ruined.
Yeah.
He was very strict about that. How were you that straight, and how did you tolerate when someone did that mid-shot?
Yeah, it's tough because continuity to me is like the most important thing when it comes to filmmaking. And so, right. So, you know, we were in that basement, and it happened a couple times. We were filming down there, right? So,
yeah, I think it was a 2-day project.
You know, like I said, perfect. They film base like on a set. In Hollywood, it's like 12 to 15
It's
hours
warehouses
every day.
Which, like, those are hot.
Right, 12 to 15 hours a day. It's like you're always on the move. But when we were filming in that basement, yeah, and for example, one of the actors, Connor Okada, put his phone on the table, but I knew the phone was not on the table. So I'm like, oh shit. So now you have to go back in time in the footage, and you got to see like, oh okay, where'd
this fucker mess up?
Right, what shots is that phone in?
Right.
And what do I have to reshoot, or do I have to pay somebody, an editor, to get that phone out?
Right.
Which it's happened to me in the past couple films that I made, Chestnut and Party Foul, where I had to pay editors all over the world to remove objects that are not supposed to be there. So how I handle it, I just try to keep my composure. I'm gonna say, okay, guys, we should have to do that again because the phone wasn't there, or even the poker chips on the table. Like if there was a green column, red column, blue column, but the blue column wasn't there. I'm like, okay, that actually goes on like that end of the table. So I keep my cool, but obviously it's annoying because through the director's eyes, through my eyes, I could see all those little details.
Well, because you scan the set.
Right. So it's basically, I keep track of everything. I know how everything's supposed to look in my head, how everything's supposed to go. So if something like is kind of not supposed to be where it is or kind of wonky, I automatically stop the camera and fix it. Right. Because I want it to be as perfect as possible, as perfect continuity as possible.
Now, on to more impressing matters with not only Vinny, but the people he hired. This poster of Party Foul reminds me of, let's say, an Avengers movie, like Floating Head. What inspired you to make that?
I always wanted to make a cover, because, like, the original Party Foul, like, we had, like, the main grandma here, but we had, like, 6 or 7 dots of, like, the characters in the bubbles. I kind of wanted to make it more killer based, so you
like
can
a
see
Michael Myers type.
Yeah, where it's like the audience sees the main antagonist of the film like right dead front and center. Nothing too crazy about it. I wanted something more simplistic that gets right to the point. Okay, Party Foul, great. See the bloody writing, and you have like the main figure of the film. And actually, believe it or not, there was a few people from the original Party Foul that said, they asked me like, why do you use the grandma mask? Out of all the masks you can use, why do you use a grandma mask? And nobody knows it, but I'm going to answer that for you right now.
We have a Sam Does Stuff exclusive right
now. So basically, when I first started writing the short film a few years back, I thought of the old grandma mask because the students, the frat kids, are not going to live to see them old. So the last thing they're going to see is that old face. That's the closest they're going to get to seeing, to being old. So that's kind of where I got the inspiration for the mask from, is that, like, these students, they're never going to experience being old, but they're going to experience the hell that old brings from this individual.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I also have a photo to brag about. I did get a picture with Mima. I'm not going to say, I'm just saying. I took this picture and I immediately wanted to post it.
That's great.
I couldn't. But I'm posting it now that, like, he posted stuff. I'm posting this the day the movie comes out saying, go watch it, do this, do that, and potential watch party.
Right,
I'm not going to say where and I'm not going to say who. There might be cast members. Now, one thing I hope to see in this movie, I hope a lot of you want to see this too, is a scary moonshot. Now, there's always Halloween there.
Yes.
Michael Myers watching from the distance.
Mm-hmm.
You have Freddy Krueger in your dreams. You have Jason in the lake. What is your Jason in the lake moment? And when did you notice the moon and said,
Yeah.
Did you notice that, like, that was the shot you wanted of, like, a cloud just kind of, like, Home Aloneing?
Right. It wasn't supposed to be in the shot. Like, it actually wasn't, I don't think, in my shot sheet. But on one night we were filming, I think it was the fire pit scene when we first started filming that, I took a look up randomly. I looked up, and maybe Liv brought it to my attention. She's like, "Oh, guys, look at the moon." So I looked up at the moon, and man, it was just so perfect to where, like, there was a cloud in front, and the moon is, like, right there. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I got to get that shot, because it's a nice connection to, okay, now these characters are outside. So it's a great transition, and it's very eerie, and I just like the shot. It looks great on camera when I put it in there, and I didn't look back.
Yeah.
What was the Jason in the Lake?
Jason in the Lake, I think, was a great analogy because, you know, watching from a distance. I don't know if you have a shot of... Do you have a shot of the killer? Kind of just like Michael Myers into the camera, watching from, like, a bush?
Yes.
You do?
I do. First person.
First person. So, here's where it gets weird. Do you think anyone will know who the killer is based on that shot? Could you tell who it is?
No.
You can't.
No. No. People will have their assumptions.
Interesting.
But I don't think they'll know.
That's interesting. Now that we're reaching the end of our interview, let's get some props. As you can see, the pussy paddle that I shall grab.
Yes.
First of all, why did you pick pussy to put on a paddle, and where did this prop come from? You haven't held this since
I haven't
day
since
of.
I haven't touched it. Wow. Yeah, I just think it's such an insult.
Pussy.
Yeah, such an insult. Like, and I
you
feel
know
like
from experience.
Yeah.
Because you don't get a lot of that. You just get called that.
Right. Right. Yeah, you know, I think it's a guy thing. You know, like you know, they call each other this all
Big pussy.
all the time. All the time.
Quick question. Is that the original one that was on set?
This right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the one. Yeah.
And you could see the marks here. They actually hit stones with it when we were on set, and it's got all the signatures too of the cast on there, which is pretty cool. Yeah, but I chose that word because I think that's a guy thing. They always call each other that in college. I've been around it. And with the paddle, it's always like an initiation thing. Like every frat has a paddle.
I just think, and I think I asked Vinny the second I saw this, because I think me and Dylan were hitting rocks with it, as you pointed out with the marks. I remember bringing this to one of the last shoots, and I was like, everybody needs to sign it. Now, I'm not saying I needed it signed, but it's kind of like a memento. It shows everybody. I mean, everybody important's on. I mean, we could probably scribble Vinny's name off, but everybody important's on here. I mean, it's got a bunch of marks on it, which is kind of crazy.
I think one's like fly guts. There's fly guts on there.
There is fly guts.
Oh, it's on the...
It's on the front.
Oh, it is.
I do remember I was...
Poor fly. Oh, man.
Vinny's an asshole. I'm not going to say what, but he made me film at 8 a.m. after a wedding. And I was super tired because I was up late. And I think I got, like, startled by some, like, fly. So I fucking... Boom! And I look, he's like, we need it for the shot. And I was like, oh, sorry. I hit Steve. He's like, who the fuck Steve? I'm like, and he looked at it, he's like... So he scraped off Steve. And his guts are still on here. And I just think that's a really... Why is the P so wide?
Screwed up? Yeah. I don't know.
Up.
I
mean,
don't know. I think
it looks good. It's just like...
I think
why is it so wide?
I think it was just because just like... again, terrible writing. A lot of guys have terrible writing.
Right.
I consider myself to have terrible writing.
Have you seen my handwriting?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I feel like if it had that's actually a thing. If I had bad handwriting, it would look better.
Right.
Instead of being perfect, you know. So
True.
I thought it just worked for what it was, you know. And this plays a big part in the film.
Oh, so I have one of the best props.
You do, and it again, it's definitely something like this whole film was special, man. Just
it was a good experience.
Yes. of course. Yeah.
I stole a lot from set.
You mean like Chris Hemsworth with all the Mjolnirs?
Yeah. Mhm.
Right.
I might need to use this on Angelo when he fucking doesn't meet his deadline. What do you think of that? You don't like that idea. A prop that I took that I don't even know if you know about. Very, very crucial. Don't look back there. Ba-boom.
Ah.
The killer's knife. With
Some blood spots on
some
it.
blood.
Yeah.
I don't know whose blood. Don't tip it down, because we broke it during filming.
Yeah.
And,
Wow. Yeah,
I've
that's.
seen some shit. You haven't held this.
It's since that night.
Don't break it. I don't trust you.
It is not. It is.
It's crazy.
It is special, and those are the actual blood prints from the. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how I got this, 'cause I never was personally on set with it. I don't know whose blood this is. This could be anybody's.
Yeah.
I won't say if I live or die, but this knife specifically, he had sitting on his table, and I was like, "Can I have that?" And he's like, "Yeah, why not?" And I was like, "Okay." I just think it's something cool to have.
Yeah, sure.
It's gonna go on an Iron Man display case. It's gonna be kind of like,
I dig it.
yep. I mean, this is my Stu Mercher fucking TV.
Oh, Stu Macher.
Stu Macher.
That's what he said.
Fuck! Damn it! Now on to the best part of the interview, in my opinion, is we're gonna have Angelo swap with me and ask Vinny some questions about the film.
Hey, Vinny.
What's going on, Ange?
It's good.
Looking good, pal.
Thank you.
All right.
Sam said, doing an interview, and I said, alright, I'll wear something nice. So, showed up. So, how did you... Sam was like the right person for the role.
I think with Sam, he just had the comedic factor, and we met actually on Xbox. I was playing Dead by Daylight, and Charlie, a good friend of mine, was just like, "Oh, hey, I have this friend named Sam who would be a great fit for the role." So I said, "Okay, let me talk to him." So I talked to him on Xbox. I got to know him a little bit better. I had him audition, and I just think out of all the people I auditioned for that role, he was like the best for it. He was so funny, and I was like, "You also have the look for the character that I'm looking for." So when he actually was on set and he got to the character, he did a fantastic job. I mean, like, bar none, again, played his role to a T. And again, the script, he read the script, and like a lot of improvisation with Sam too, because like he's just naturally funny, and a lot of his stuff actually worked. So I chose him because he just had everything. It's very rare, but he had everything.
So you said that you just learned by yourself.
Yeah.
With different... Was it with everything? With acting, editing?
Everything. I taught myself everything. I didn't go to college for any of that stuff. Here and there, I would do theater, and I started out as a tap dancer. Believe it or not, like, I was a tap dancer, and it kind of led me. It kind of led me to filmmaking. The entertainment, just business as a whole. Yeah, I taught myself everything.
And what made you really just be like, alright, I really want to just make a movie that's around horror? Like,
it's weird because I got into horror in 2017 when I watched Annabelle Creation, and I shit my pants when I saw that in theaters. I was so scared shitless, but it inspired me. So when I saw that movie, I knew I wanted to make a horror film. So like 8 years later or something, it's like I was like, whoa. Okay, I think I got something I can offer. You know what I mean? And so when I did that, and I wrote Chestnut, and it came out beautiful, I want to make another one. So it's like the movies you see today will always inspire you. And I hope that, when and if my movies get made, they inspire other actors and filmmakers and directors, writers to go out and do the same.
do you have anything like any other movies that you think of, like any more? Like,
Now
can
that's-
you hint at?
now
You
that's
did say he was
not-
making
now-
Thor 5. You did say.
Now that's a secret. That's a secret. I always,
Okay.
you know, as you never want to fizzle away. You always want to think of something. I think as a writer, it's like you always want to make the next big thing, but you always want to keep writing because again, you will fade away into like nothing.
Like how music artists, or like if someone did
Right.
sports,
If
they just stop for a while, sometimes they
you
never come
you
back
won't
the
be
same.
back. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. Good.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Pleasure to be here.